Hi guys, welcome to another video. I'm sorry it's about a week delayed from when it should be posted. I've been battling a cold or flu the last week and a half. I don't know which one it is. I was getting better, then it started kicking my butt again. And I was also looking for, and still looking for, a new used car to me, just to get me to and from work. My current car, a 2006 Dodge Magnum, is on its last leg, so in the next month or two I want to find something in my budget just to get me going for the next 3 to 4 years, so I can start looking for something a little bit newer, or again going for another used new to me car for the next 3-4 years after that. So that's what I've been doing. But anyways, regardless of that, in this month's installment we're going to be looking at what I've been doing for the month of February, which was working on painting and weathering my track. So when we get back with this video, I will show you exactly what I've been doing. So this is what I've been up to for the last month of February. I've been weathering and painting my track, so I'll just quickly go over with you. So here you can see just the base coat of the track. I've been taping off all my points and throw bars so they don't get stuck and gummed up. And then what I have proceeded on doing after that was using my weathering powders just to lighten up the ties and weather them like they're sun bleached. I was using several different colors that I'm going to go over with you in this video. I'm going to show you a step-by-step process of how I did my track, not actually showing you the painting but the material step-by-step what I've done. This track here, this siding here is completely done and cleaned. I'm gonna have to clean it again because the back spray got it dirty a little bit in my haste. I didn't cover it up, so I'm gonna have to redo it again. As you can see, the different shades of reds, rusts, and grime and light effects. Sorry if me moving is making you sick, guys. So it looks like nice weathered rail. And there's my other two industrial sidings. As you can see from far, you can really see the different colors and effects going on. I did some white here for like really bleached track. And again, some red and grime areas. So when I come back with this video, I will show you the steps and the materials I did to get this track looking like this. I haven't finished yet. I've done these sidings here and this one here. I did these two yard leads here, and then I just have to do my main line, that siding over there, and the main line on all these switches here to finish the track off, which I'll be working into the month of March on that, and then I'll continue on my next step, which will hopefully be my roads, parking lots, and building bases where I want to put my buildings in the future. Maybe some mock-ups as well from March into April. So when we get back with this video, I will show you exactly how I did this to make my track look like this. Alright, so the first step is you want to tape off all your points and throw bars so they don't get gunked up and sticky, so they work flawlessly with your either your hand throws or your turnout machines. You want to get good quality, either like a good quality blue painter's tape. In this case, I'm using what's here in Canada called frog tape. I believe it's available in the United States as well. It comes in a sealed container. And it's just very good, sorry guys, very good quality tape. It just sticks to corners, edges and corners really well, and doesn't allow a lot of bleed through. So I just cut it into little strips and just covered my points. So when you're done, you're basically have just a little section of unpainted track And in the future, what I'm going to do to blend everything in, I'm just going to do a dry brushing technique to color the throw bar to make it the same color as the ties. For the main color painting the track, what I used, a lot of people use acrylic paints and airbrushing. I don't have an airbrush yet. I didn't want to use acrylic paints by brush to do it, so I'm using the good old trick. A lot of model railroads use this. It's Rust-Oleum matte flat camouflage in the brown green. That gives you a nice base color that looks like this. So almost like a black, brown, grimy on the rails. Looks really prototypical. A little bit of rust, but mostly that grime effect. So you just spray your track down liberally. I did 2 nice strong coats, and basically I just make sure I point the can down this way and then down this side, so I get both the outsides of the rails and the insides of the rails. And then before the paint dries in between each step, I take a little piece of MDF or Homostoad board and I just rub it across the rails like so to clean the wet paint off the top of the rail head. Not exactly to get all the paint off, but get as much paint off as possible so it doesn't gunk up on you, making the final step of cleaning your track that much harder and that much longer. So that's step 1. You let that dry and I'll come back with step 2. So the next step, what I did, you could have done this before you paint your track. Basically get your leftover ties from cutting down your flex track and shaving off the tie pins or nails, sorry, and then just fill the gaps in your track. Like you can see over here under the rail joiners, I still have a gap on my main line that I got to do, and I just weathered those with weathering powder. So what I use, you can use a nice stiff art brush. What I'm using is an old makeup brush from my wife. After she bought a whole new set, she gave me her old set, and you just want to brush that. Will go really nicely in all the crevices and cracks, and something that will hold your weathering powder really well, or your chalk pastels or your pen pastels. A lot of products you can be using, like pen pastels, or regular oil pastels that you grind down and then you use that powder, or aim powders. In my case, I'm using Doc O'Brien's weathering powders through Micromark. I got a nice set of 12 beginner set for dirt cheap at a train show. And the colors that I was using: rusty brown, highlight white, rusty red, dirt brown, and grungy gray in different combinations just to get the colors. And then basically once I get all the colors set how I want, I then proceed to clear coat the track. You have to seal your weathering powder, because if you do not and you ballast your track either using wet water or alcohol to saturate it for the glue, you will basically have it bleed everywhere, destroying your ballast, or just basically bleeding the color, and you won't see any of your color afterwards. So you can use, what a lot of people use is Testors spray lacquer in the matte, but what I personally use is Krylon low odor matte, clear matte, art hold finish. It's basically a clear coat for art pieces. It works the same way as a Testors. It's in a large can, $7 compared to $5 to $6 for a small can. Goes a long way. So basically, once I get my powders down, I just seal them lightly with the seal coat. What you'll notice sometimes is the powders will get very light and a lot duller than you want with your first layer, just like weathering a car or a engine. So what you're going to have to do is just, after the matte finish dries, you're just going to have to weather your track in steps. And again, between steps, you want to use your MDF board just to get all that paint and spray off the top of your rails, so you're not going to be having a hard clean in your last step. So when I get back, I'll show you how to clean your track to get your trains running in the final step, and then you can go on to further modeling once your track is done. So the final step to enjoying your new weathered and painted track is cleaning it so you can enjoy running your trains. You can spend countless hours and elbow grease of actually using Goo Gone or alcohol or a heavy-duty paint cleaner to clean the top of your rails, or go the old-fashioned approach of using a Bright Boy, which I will show you how that looks like. Just a Bright Boy eraser, but you'll be going through a bunch of these. It'll do a good job, but like I said, you're going to be going through a bunch of Bright Boys. So what you're going to want to do is get 600 grit or finer sandpaper, and you're going to basically dry sand your railheads. This is not going to damage your railheads at all. It's going to just basically do what the Bright Boy does, just on a better and faster rate without going through Bright Boys. What you want to do is devise yourself a little block. I got this block in an old wooden model ship that I've never got to doing it, so I just cut the sandpaper into strips. One end goes in here, the end just loops around the bottom like so, and then there's a rubber stopper that goes in here, a wedge that holds the sandpaper in place, and I just use the different contours to sand the top of the track to get all the paint debris and clear coat debris off your track. The following step after you do that, the sanding, and I just do it in sections, then you go to your Goo Gone or your alcohol to clean any of the metal residue from sanding. What I actually use is a MotoMaster car electrical contact cleaner. Does a really well clean on electrical surfaces. Is basically a quick drying evaporating alcohol, but it also has a electric conductive polymer in there that basically helps with conductivity on your rails by leaving a residue. And then the final step after I spray that down, and then just basically use good old-fashioned elbow grease with a rag to basically clean that residue off. And basically what you want to do is either use a microfiber cloth. What I'm using here is old bedding, old bed sheet. It doesn't have a lot of lint, and just cut it down to squares and use that. And then once you get that done, your final step for extra conductivity, and it also lubricates your wheels. Also an old school trick, you want to go to an art store and get graphite sticks. So basically what's in your pencils, just a stick of graphite, and then you lightly take your graphite stick and just lightly rub the top of the rails. What that does is coats the rails with graphite, and graphite is very conductive to electricity. That gives you an extra layer of lubrication against friction, and it'll promote conductivity to your train wheels from your railheads. So basically that's my process in a nutshell of how I did my painting. I still have about halfway to go. So I hope you guys found this video informative and instructive and not too long. This is just the way I did my track weathering and painting. As you know, if you look on YouTube, read Model Railroad or any other model train magazine or online source, there's multiple ways of skinning this cat, of getting your track to look more prototypical. This is just the way I did it. So again, I hope this guys helped you out. And as always, thank you for watching, liking, sharing, and most of all, commenting. If you have any questions or comments, definitely please leave those below. Please like and share this video, and I will see you next month, hopefully with some more progress on the layout.